Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So I haven't done one of these videos for a little while. This is going to be a video, an ASMR video meant to help you relax and maybe even fall asleep, but be interesting at the same time. The point of this video is we're going to look at flags of the world and capital cities too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out a flag. We're going to start with Kazakhstan, and I'm going to read you some facts about this country. We'll look at its flag, we'll learn its capital, and yeah, we'll then move on to the next one, the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So maybe I'll even include your country too. I really hope you find the video interesting, but moreover, I hope you find it terribly, terribly relaxing. Okay. Kazakhstan, now Nur Sultan, I think, has changed its name again. I want to say it's Astrakhan. I'm going to check actually. Sorry, I meant Astana. Astrakhan, I think, is a place in Russia. Astana, yeah, so they've changed the name back from Nur Sultan, which was honorary to the leader of the country at the time. Okay, so some facts. It has the longest border in the world. Now, you Canadians and Americans are probably thinking, what? But apparently it's true, so spanning more than 7,500 kilometers. Kazakhstan's border, of course, with Russia is the longest continual border in the world. Moreover, it is the second longest by total length, trailing after the Canada-United States border, coming in at 8,891. I'm assuming that's if you include Alaska, the border with Alaska and Canada, and the contiguous United States with Canada as well. To put that into perspective, from Paris to Petra in Jordan is just a smidge over 4,500 kilometers, so it's way more than that. That's crazy. Kazakhstan is extremely ethnically diverse. There are apparently 120 ethnic groups and nationalities present. Non-natives or ethnically diverse groups include Russians, Ukrainians, and Uzbeks from neighbouring Uzbekistan. It's a fun fact, this one for a pub quiz. Kazakhstan is the largest landlocked country in the world. So if you consider that it's the 9th largest country in the world overall, but it isn't near a coast, it does not have an ocean, it doesn't have any access to the ocean, it's completely surrounded on one side by Russia. So yeah, it is an extremely large country without any access to an ocean or a lake. Sorry, it does have access to lakes obviously, but not to oceans and seas. So Kazakhstan actually translates into Stan, land of the Kazakh, the wanderers, going back to their nomadic past. And it's home to one of the largest lakes in the world, which is called Lake Balkhash, which holds the title of the 15th largest lake in the world and one of the largest in all of Asia. Sprawling across 16,400 square kilometers, its sheer size is breathtaking. However, what really makes it unique is its natural phenomenon within the waters. In the west, the lake is fresh water, and in the east, it's salt water. Wow, that's incredible. Kazakhstan has 5 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And lastly, the national drink is horse milk. It's called kumis, and it can be eaten or can be drunk. It's considered to have a light body with a slightly sour alcohol taste, and it's usually fermented horse milk. Good for your tummy. Okay, let's go from Kazakhstan. We're going to go up to Cuba. Beautiful flag, I love it. the red triangle, white star, and then blue and white stripes. Let's learn some facts about Cuba. Havana. Havana is the capital of Cuba, an island just off the coast of the United States, really close to the state of Florida, in fact. I think Miami is basically half Cuban, isn't it? Okay, Christmas was banned in Cuba for 30 years under the communist government, which came to power in 1959. And in communism, usually you are declared an atheist state. So in 1969, Castro abolished Christmas as an unofficial holiday, the reason being that it had a negative impact on the country's production of sugar. How mean. However, this ban came to an end in 1997 after Pope John Paul II's historic visit to the country. The period when Christmas was banned was locally referred to as Las Navidades Silenciadas, the silent Christmases. To this day, Christmas is a normal working day. Crazy. Seems it's a Christian country, or at least, well, at some point it was being Catholic, I suppose. Cuba has one of the highest literacy rates in the world, standing at a whopping 99.8%. After the Cuban Revolution, a campaign was launched called the Cuban Literacy Campaign, with the aim of abolishing illiteracy and making school accessible to everyone. Especially people from marginalised backgrounds, education became mandatory from ages 6 to 15. And literate Cubans, some as young as 16 years old, were sent to rural areas to teach adults and children how to read and write. Dominoes is a national Cuban pastime. Men playing dominoes in the street is a common sign in most Cuban neighbourhoods. Burning rag dolls is a New Year's Eve tradition. On New Year's Eve, many Cubans burn life-sized rag dolls as a way of bidding farewell to the old year. I can get on board with that. The dolls are called monigotes, and Cubans typically gather in streets and squares to burn the effigies at the stroke of midnight. Cuba is home to the smallest bird. It's also home to 25 endemic bird species, including the bee hummingbird, which is the smallest bird in the world. This tiny bird grows to 6 centimeters in length and has vivid iridescent colors. In fact, you're likely to mistake it for an insect. Santeria is the second most popular religion after Catholicism. During the colonial era, thousands of African slaves were shipped to the Caribbean to work on plantations. Terrible, terrible. Many aspects of Cuban culture contain African influences, including music and religion. One of the main elements of Afro-Cuban culture is Santeria, a religion that developed among Cubans with West African heritage. Santeria features a mix of religious elements of the Yoruba people with Roman Catholicism. Santeria rituals and ceremonies are held in temples known as Casas de Santos. Houses of saints are led by priests and priestesses. Okay, let's go from Cuba and we're going to cross the Atlantic Ocean. But we're not going to Europe, we're going to go to Africa and we're going to stop at Morocco. Rabat is the capital of Morocco, although you've probably heard of places such as Casablanca, probably. Let's learn some facts about Morocco. The red flag with the green 5-pointed star in the middle, which is hollow and has the red from the background in the middle. Morocco is just 8 miles, that's 8, not 80, 8 miles from Spain across the Strait of Gibraltar, which is a narrow body of water which connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean. There are 10,000 alleyways in the city of Fez. So Fez's labyrinth Medina is made up of around 10,000 alleyways that are too narrow for cars, where small artisan shops sell everything from food to furniture from the side of the road. Mules, or small chariots, are used to transport wares around the Medina. Keep an ear out for the cry of Balek, which roughly translates as, "Get out of the way." In the 9th century, so the traditional Moroccan tagine dates back to the 9th century and is named after the terracotta pot it is cooked in. Like curry in India, the recipe varies depending on the region. The basic recipe is a slow-cooked, savoury stew, often served with stoned fruit, boiled eggs, or almonds. Oh, lovely. The Atlas Mountains are the highest peaks in North Africa, extending some 2,500 kilometers across Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. The highest peak is located in Morocco at a height of 4,167 meters and is called Mount Toubkal. It's a popular trekking route in both summer and winter and can be easily climbed in a long weekend. The foothills of the Atlas Mountains are inhabited by Berber villages. So the next and final fact about Morocco is that around 65 people call Morocco home, so just over 33, nearly 34 million. And that's from July 2017, so it might be even more now. A major increase when compared to just 8 million people after the country's independence from France in 1956. Very fast-growing population. Okay. I've never actually been to Morocco. I did plan on going at one point. But one place I have been, I'm very proud to say I've been, is New Zealand. I didn't go to Wellington, which is the capital. I went to Auckland and then I went down to the South Island. Let's learn some facts about lovely New Zealand then. So, it's the land of the long white cloud. The Maori name for New Zealand, Aotearoa, means land of the long white cloud. There are various explanations for its name, most rooted in traditional Maori stories, but all somehow link the idea that the horizon in New Zealand is often covered in long white clouds. The country is also the shape of a long cloud when seen from space, but maybe that's just a coincidence. I'm sure they weren't able to travel into space. I love this fact as a Welshman. There are way more sheep than people. New Zealand's a sparsely populated country. Geographically, it's close in size to the UK, but its population is only 4.47 million, compared to the UK's 64 million, so just 60 million fewer. And what's more, sheep far outnumber people. There are about 6 sheep for every human in New Zealand. It's one of the highest ratios in the world. I think Wales is pretty up there. I think we might be 4 sheep to every human, but I'm not quite sure on that. Next up, beaches are never far away. Beaches in New Zealand are never more than a quick day trip away. In fact, no part of this country is more than 128 kilometers away from the ocean. So you could easily ski and surf in one day. I'll be doing neither because I'll break my neck. It was the last frontier for humans. So Homo sapiens, to be exact, started off in Africa, moved on to Europe and Asia, North America, Australia, and finally New Zealand, only landing there approximately 800 years ago. Wow, really? That's tens of thousands of years later than most regions of the world. It's a very young country then, isn't it, in lots of respects. And it used to be home to a monstrously big bird. If you like your birds big, New Zealand's your spot. Although extinct, the giant moa bird was native to New Zealand. They were 3.6 meters tall and weighed a whopping 230 kilometers. 3.6 meters. I think I'm only like 1.8. Twice my size. Oh, and last fact. It pioneered women's rights. The furthest corner of the world was also the most progressive. Lovely New Zealand. New Zealand pioneered women's rights long before countries like the US and the UK, and became the first country in the world to give all women the right to vote in 1893. Good on you guys. Okay, let's go from the farthest reaches of the world to somewhere up north, from south to north. Let's go to lovely Canada. From one great country to another. Still haven't been to Canada, although I had a massive obsession with it when I was a kid. Ottawa is the capital of Canada. So, it says, Canada, as a country, has the longest coastline in the world, measuring over 200,000 kilometers. The coastline is surrounded by 3 oceans and makes up almost 57% of the world's total coastline. That is absolutely incredible. There are... Well, okay, so I disagree with this comment, but I'm reading it from an internet site. It says there are 2 different languages in Canada. The vast majority of Canada is English speaking, but this varies from province to province, with French also being commonly spoken in certain areas. Oh, okay, it does drop in what I was contesting. But there are also over 70 Aboriginal languages, still spoken in areas that have existed for hundreds of years. This is a funny one, Canada's national animal is actually a beaver. You may be surprised to hear that the national animal of Canada is a beaver. The beaver became the national animal of Canada in 1975, and the connection to the country dates back hundreds of years due to the link to the fur trade that the animal once had. Beavers are the largest rodent in the country and can weigh up to 60 pounds and measure over 3 feet long. They spend their days asleep and are known for their dam building and large teeth, which they use to fell trees. Plenty of trees in Canada. The coldest ever recorded temperature in Canada is minus 63 degrees Celsius. The temperature and weather in Canada are unlike any country in the world, and due to its size can vary drastically. Average temperatures on the east and west coast sit around 20 degrees Celsius, but temperatures can drop to huge minus numbers in the colder months of the year. So the coldest ever recorded temperature for this lovely country was minus 63 degrees in Snag, which is in Yukon, which sits between the Northwestern Territories and Alaska. This is a funny one to finish. Oh, actually, there's another one. It says hockey is the national sport of Canada. You love your hockey, don't you guys? And last one, remove its lakes, and Canada would only be the 4th largest country in the world. Canada is the 2nd largest country in the world, but if you removed its lakes, it would only be the 4th. Canada is notorious for its lakes, and these large masses of water make up 9% of the area of the country. Lake Louise, Moraine Lake and Lake Ontario are some of the most popular lakes and are often visited by those looking to enjoy water sports and hiking while visiting Canada. I think we've got time for one more country. Okay, we haven't done a European country, so let's look at Switzerland. It'd be good if I showed it to you. Switzerland's a very unique flag. It's actually not a rectangle, it's more of a square, but I think they just wanted to fit it in here. They've made Nepal's as a rectangle as well, but actually it's just that. So Switzerland, capital of Bern. So there are 4 official languages. Switzerland is divided into 4 different language regions: French in the western part, Italian in the southern part, Romansh in some areas of the southeast, and Swiss German in the rest. But don't worry, It says the website says you can get by speaking English in major cities such as Zurich, Geneva, and other tourist destinations. The Alps make up almost 60% of the country, so it's around 58% of their total land area. Despite the abundance of mountains, the country's landscape is actually pretty diverse. In the northern parts of the Alps, like the Bernese Oberland, you'll find that the scenery is very green and vibrant, while in the south, like Valais, it's drier and rougher. You'll also see stunning lakes and villages full of palm trees in between. As a reminder, it says, no euros here. If you're going to be coming from a different European country, you might be surprised to see price tags and menus showing in different currency. Switzerland uses Swiss francs, and the shortcut for this is CHF, as opposed to the euro. But don't fret, the euro is widely accepted in Switzerland, although you might only be able to use bank notes, and you'll get your change in Swiss francs. Travel adapters are a must. It says if you're going to charge your phone, you notice their socket has 3 round holes, as opposed to only 2 like in most of Europe. The good news is that you can still use your European travel adapter in Switzerland. Just make sure the prongs fit, because sometimes European plugs are too big for Swiss sockets. The voltage is also similar to the rest of the continent, which is around 50 Hz. And it says no tips necessary. This is a shocker to the Americans watching this. Calling all budget travellers. Well, I don't think you can go to Switzerland on a budget. It's a very expensive country. Here's a fun fact about Switzerland that you're sure to appreciate. You don't need to break out a calculator and figure out how much you're going to tip. The tip is already included in the final price. Of course, you can still show your appreciation to the waiter or waitress by adding a little extra. I remember when I went to Asia, and in places like Korea, it's actually rude to tip because it kind of suggests that their employer doesn't pay them enough. So yeah, walking out of a restaurant in China, Korea, Japan, and not leaving a tip because it would have been seen as rude was very abnormal to me. Okay, I really hope that you enjoyed this and you learned some fun facts about different countries around the world. And do give this video a like, and if it does well, then I will do another installment sooner than the last installment I did, which was months and months ago. Apologies. So yeah, give this video a like, drop me a little comment, maybe add to some of the facts. Definitely correct any of them if they were wrong. I was reading them from sites on the internet, so I take no credit. And I will not accept any blame. And subscribe if you're new to the channel, and lastly, if you love what I do, then consider supporting me a little bit further by going onto Patreon, the details of which are in the box below, and you get 2 extra videos. 1 map video a month that never gets released on this channel publicly, and another ramble video of me just chatting to you and telling you how my month has gone. Plus you can obviously message me a lot quicker as well, and I respond to all messages on that platform as quick as I can. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care, and watch one of these videos next. Join me on Patreon, like, comment, subscribe.